Hello friends, welcome back. We are now on Ancient Necropolis, which is probably the hardest slash second hardest map of Blackburn Castle series. I had the most problems with it at first because I was like, I don't even know how to play these games, and the first time you see those ancient knights and the guys that are impenetrable and you can't kill them with anything but magic, it's like, what the heck, how do you deal with them? And then you slowly realize it's not as hard as you think. It's actually quite easy once you understand how to do it. And the first thing you need to understand is magic in the back, artillery in the middle, and archers in the front. That's the easiest way to put it. That's the best time you're going to have if you just do it this way. And again, it's mainly because of those two guys. It's skeletons, zombies, rats, any of those guys. It really doesn't matter what the heck you use on them. You just need some killing power. And if you get a lot of high-level towers, you're going to have enough killing power. Also, I highly recommend quite a few bombard towers. Get some Tesla coils. Tesla coils are really, really good in this game, and I definitely recommend Tesla coils because you don't see that many gigantic 55 people in a spot groups, except in the kind of like the early game with some skeletons, but you really can't buy Tesla coil like that. It's a little bit too expensive, and you can't really hit both sides if you do that, so really not worth it. Now, it is a little bit confusing because sometimes you have guys that come from the bottom left and they end up going straight through to the right. Sometimes you have guys going from the top straight through to the right. But every once in a while, they actually swap and crisscross. So the guys that come out of the top will go all the way to the middle, go down, and then go right. And the same thing with the bottom guys. They start in the bottom, go to the middle, go up, and then go to the right. So it does get a little bit confusing, and I don't know the pattern. All I have to say is just make sure you have a pretty good chunk of defense on both sides, and you should be okay. Basically, do the exact same thing on both sides, and you should be alright. Now, one thing that I have to say that I always try and say this in my Kingdom Rush videos is that obviously this game is micro. So if you put all the towers in the exact same spots and you're like, what the heck, I can't win this, it's so stupid, I should be able to win, it's because your micro's not that great and you need to work on that. Two things that I highly recommend is obviously reinforcements, try and make their spears throwing, rain of fire, try and get big groups of guys, and always use your rain of fire before the next wave starts. Almost always. You know, the waves are so long, it's not going to be a gigantic rush of guys all at once right as soon as the wave starts. It's not usually like that. You usually have some time in between when big rushes start to come at you again. So almost always use your rain of fire right before you start the next round. And what I actually end up doing is using my rain of fire at the guys that are closest to the back. Because when I send out the next wave, I don't want a big chunk of next wave guys to like interlock and interchange with the guys that are already left over from the last wave. Then they can start bundling up and everything. So you usually want to kill the ones closest to the back, so you can tell my rain of fire is closer to the back. And then when these new guys come out, it won't matter. You know, it's not like I have billions of guys over there, and it's just going to cause a lot of mass chaos for me. As you can tell, the zombies just got burned up basically, and we just got one of these silly little guys. Now, one common thing that you guys are probably also seeing is that I am using Hacksaw. He is my favorite hero to use on these levels, mainly for his amazing insta-kill power. Check this out right here, guys. We've got Hacksaw over there. Look at that little purple guy. Oh, he's usually a huge buff work. Nope, insta-killed him. We just, screwed him, and he died. Yep, I know. It's awesome. I guess we drilled him. and he exploded. It's kind of crazy how, when you can just drill people and they burn into a big pile of pieces of dust. But that's how amazing Hacksaw is. He can make anybody into dust. Except for Blackburn. He can't turn him into dust, which is kind of sad. But just about anybody else, you can turn him into dust. So what else should you be doing? Well, the first few upgrades you should be getting is actually not towards your artillery. You know, we're on round 3 right now, so we can actually start to getting some artillery, but you don't want to go straight for a Tesla coil or anything. Get some magic upgrades. Make sure you get some solid magic upgrades, and you can tell with my reinforcements, where am I putting them? I'm not putting them on guys, I'm putting them in front of guys. I want the guys to walk into them, walk into the spears, and them just be doing damage overall. It's not about which guys you damage, it's more about damaging guys. As long as you're damaging guys, your towers should be able to do the rest. And if you ever see like, oh my god, guys are getting through, use a couple of reinforcements, use Hacksaw, or just say, oh my god, I don't have anything else, let's use the Rain of Fire. Because that's what you're going to end up doing quite a bit. Also, I still don't even recommend it. Never Rain of Fire the guys at the very, very, very front. Always Rain of Fire the guys in the middle of the pack. Rain and fire are the ones in the middle of the pack because your towers are always going to shoot towards the front, and you want to have the best ability to kill everybody. And reinforcements can usually handle a couple guys. Now, obviously, if you put them in the right spots and you spear them. Spear them, guys. I know I'm going to say that all the time, but spearing them is important. Now, Hacksaw's ability doesn't come back that often. I think it's every, like, 35 seconds or so, 30 seconds, something like that. So it does take him a while to get it back, and by the time he gets it back, he's already, like, chopping people with his saws and stuff, and he usually ends up hurting them enough where it's like, maybe it wasn't even worth it to use it on that guy. Maybe I should just move him over to a new guy. Hey, and that's something that you can think about doing if you want to. Maybe just a little bit more effective if you're playing on hard or something. Maybe you can go ahead and try that out and see if that does a little bit better. I honestly think that if I played this on hard, I wouldn't have very many problems. I think, you know, you'd still have those random zombies that are trying to sneak on through in this early game, and sometimes in the late game as well. But other than that, I think for the most part, you'd probably just take them all down pretty darn easily. I think this was probably the most dangerous part of my game. Was right there when all those zombies got stuck kind of, you know, going towards the right. And I was like, I don't really have anything to use against them. I mean, I can start using some reinforcements, but they're probably not going to be able to kill them all. So I decided to just go for an early technician tactic and just go for the rain of fire nice and quick. And now we're realizing, oh man, there's a lot of grouped guys that I'm starting to worry about. So I need to stop going with so many archer towers and mage towers, and I need to start going with Tesla coils. The most stupendous tower in the game. They're my favorite, actually. I really like the Tesla coils. When I first saw the Tesla coils, I was actually upset. I didn't like them. I thought they were stupid and not very good. And then I slowly realized, oh my goodness gracious, they are amazing. And I like them a lot. I like them a whole bunch. A whole bunch. One other thing that I have to recommend with you guys is trying to stall guys away from your big groups of towers. So if you know you don't really want to stall the guys and keep them away from your big chunk of magic in the back. I know it sounds weird to like want the guys to get to the back, but you kind of do. You kind of want to get a lot of them to the back. But at the same time, you don't want all of them to get to the back. You want to slowly clean some of them up over time, or at least damage them over time, and then just finish them up right next to the mage towers. But that's just one thing about this game in general, is you don't want to try and stall all of them right at the very, very front, because what happens is they start to pile up on top of each other, and then when they finally do beat your reinforcements and or Hacksaw, they're just going to go in a gigantic pile right through your defense. You know, the archers aren't going to do any damage anymore, the mages aren't going to do very much damage. It's all up to your bombard towers, and your bombard towers and Tesla coils don't do very well versus big chunks of guys, and that's when like the great bombard or the biggest right-sided upgrade over there, that might be a little bit better to get. Maybe. Excuse me, I am a little bit tired here, guys. A little bit sleepy. It is actually officially 1:18 in the morning, and I'm still recording and rendering videos for you guys because that's the way I like to roll. Because I don't have any other time besides that to do them. Yay! By the way, if you guys want to like these videos for me, I much appreciate that. You know, I don't even ask for that much, but, you know, just that little green button just makes me happy. If you guys want to press that for me, fan-freaking-tastic. If you don't like this video, though, don't feel the urge to have to press the green button. If you don't like the video, press the little dislike button. Tell me why in the comments. You know, I like to hear some feedback about what you guys like or dislike about my videos. The main thing people usually say is, Chris, why don't you take a breath? You don't even stop talking, ever. That's pretty true. You know, I talk most of the time. You know, I try and keep things flowing with you guys. Try and keep things interesting. Hopefully you guys find it reasonably interesting. Now, one thing that I wanted to do is I actually wanted to speed up Kingdom Rush. I wanted to, like, make it, like, 10 minutes shorter. And I realized it messed up the sound. And I was like, you know what? You guys like the sound so much. I didn't want to mess it up. I know some people just, like, speed it up. They don't care. You know, speed it up to 2 minutes. You can even add some music over it or something. Hey, if you want to, go right ahead. But that was just not my style. I just decided, you know what? Full out 25-minute video. Who the heck cares? Let's just make it happen for you guys. Let's make it happen for you home slices. So we're finally getting these big guys up in here, these Abominations. Now, what's up? What's the deal with the Abominations? We didn't see them in the first level. We've only seen them in the second level, but they have a lot of health, but they're very, very slow, and that's probably the best thing about them is that they're very, very slow. They're actually the speed of a zombie, which I guess isn't ridiculously slow. There are slower guys, but they're reasonably slow, but they have a lot of health. Which means things like bombard towers aren't the best thing versus them. You know, you need to use mostly magic towers or archer towers to take them down, for the most part. You know, unless you have a big group of Abominations, then it really doesn't matter. You can just keep doing damage and damage and damage. But, I recommend using reinforcements on them quite a bit, and or just rain of fire them quite often. You know, keep them on top of the fire, and that'll help you do a little bit of extra damage as well. But one problem with them is they actually explode when they die. So for Hacksaw, it's actually a little bit of an issue, not a huge issue, but a little bit of an issue, because if he insta-kills them, they still explode on him, and he gets hurt. He gets hurt about half of his health on most levels. It doesn't seem like he grabs that much more health over time. So yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of an issue, but most of the time he has almost full health. And the Abominations, they really don't do very much damage. And that's probably the best thing about them, is that you can have reinforcements or Hacksaw just fight these guys for like 35 minutes by your towers. Unless there's like unless there's more than 3 of them, you're gonna be able to stall them very, very easily. And that's probably the easiest thing about the Abominations, is just the fact that you can stall them for so long. And even if one explodes, you know, you can just move Hacksaw out of the way and then, you know, put him back in the way. You know, that's more of a pro technique, I suppose, is if you notice the guy's about to die, move him out of the way. I do it every once in a while, but for the most part, actually, you know what, I'd say I do it more often than not, where I move him out of the way. Or I realize, oh, he has full health, I really don't care if that happens. Or the fact that he uses his insta-kill ability and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. So yeah, I guess there's a lot going on there. So my first mage tower upgrade was actually a sorcerer's mage. Why the heck did I do that? Well, I felt like it was a pretty decent tower, and it's just overall a good tower. And if I want to get a golem, I can definitely get a golem, or even polymorph some of these stupid guys, and then I can kill them nice and easily. Probably polymorph one of those stupid fallen knight guys, and maybe you can, excuse me, damage them with something other than the mage tower. Then the mage towers, you can damage the archers and stuff like that, but really not necessary, I don't think. I also was trying to test to see if the sorcerer's mage, you know, with that little aura that it puts around these guys, if they would be able to get hurt by anything besides magic. And I don't think it worked. I think they are impenetrable. They cannot be killed by arrows or bombard towers, or barracks, or guys. They can't be killed by any of that. They can only be killed by rain of fires or magic. Either one of those. So what does that mean for us? That's why we put all this magic in the back. You know, we got the 3 on the bottom, and we got the 2 on the top right there. We got a lot of magic over here. You know, I usually don't go this much magic. I usually try and put archer towers near the end just for like some cleanup. I like to clean these guys up every once in a while and just make sure nothing gets through. But actually, mage towers are actually pretty good cleanup towers too, because they never miss either. Where archer towers, if you got really fast guys like wolves and stuff, they can sometimes miss, which is a little bit upsetting. So you notice Hacksaw is almost dead. What am I going to do with him? Move him out of the way. You don't want him to die, guys. You know, use him fairly effectively. So we're officially up to 2 Tesla coils right in the middle there, and you can tell now these grouped guys are not going to be any problem for us at all. Also, one other thing with Sorcerer's Mage, even though this doesn't really matter that much, it does make it so the electric shock does not get less damage to those Abominations right there, because they do actually have low armor. You wouldn't think about them having low armor, but they do, and even though it's low armor, it is still some armor, and that means they can tank stuff even better. But that's also another reason why your magic is really, really good at the end there versus those Abominations. It's just like taking them down, man, taking them to Chinatown. Rock sauce them. Oh yeah. Oh, they're Spectral Knights, not Fallen Knights. The other guys are Fallen Knights. It gets confusing with all these weird names. And you just want to call everything a rat or a knight. You know, we got rats up on the top there. We got knights over here. Spectral jerk knights that like to just run in there and just tank all the archer damage. Just make my archers worth $0 because they don't want to give in and just die already. I mean, come on. Come on. But you're going to notice if you have these Fallen Knights, you can actually kill them really, really easily with a lot of reinforcements. They're not that strong versus reinforcements in the first place. You use Hacksaw and a couple other guys throwing spears on them to take them down quickly. Especially because you notice I got actually quite a few archer towers around here. I don't have a lot of high-level archer towers. I just have a bunch of low-level ones. And if you're stalling guys right next to 5 archer towers, you're going to do a lot of damage to them. And then, of course, you're going to clean them up with the magic and stuff like that. And usually at this point, you have like 3 or 4 guys down to mediocre health, you know, at best. They usually have pretty low health, and then you can just clean them up with the Tesla coil, and then after they come back as a Spectral Knight, you can just mage rape them. I love mage raping guys. So you're noticing, you know, when I'm like, I'm gonna send out the next wave, what do? Rain of Fire, send out the next wave. Boom shakalaka. And you can tell my Rain of Fire, look at that. Look at that shiznit, man. We got like 10 seconds left and we can use it again. Yeah! But this is where you have to be the most careful of them all. These evil zombies. You have to be careful, and that's why I recommend getting teleports. Try and get 2 teleports over here, both on the furthest mage towers. And the reason for them is actually mostly for zombies. Because zombies pop out of those graveyards that are both right next to the mage towers, and they do mega damage. It's a pretty big problem actually. A few more Abominations in here, but we're actually taking them down pretty quick. I actually was expecting them to be a little bit tougher, but when we got this many Archmages and all the guys just all attacking the Abominations at once, makes it easy. Makes it very easy. So already on wave 11, you know, this is where the game should be starting to get really, really difficult. You're thinking, holy bejesus, how are we going to take down the next 4 hardest waves? But if you've made it this far, and you got this setup going for you, I really don't see you having too many problems. You know, even if I didn't build any reinforcements, I definitely wouldn't lose. I don't know if I get 3 stars. I'm going to lose a couple lives, you know, mainly because of the zombies. But if I didn't build any reinforcements, I think we could still win this game. And that says a lot, because your reinforcements are a huge, huge help. And I definitely recommend tossing down almost whenever possible. The only time I don't really recommend throwing them down is if you're trying to get more guys towards your back end with the mage towers, and you don't want to stall like one really, really strong guy and have them all build up in the same spot, unless you're going to use a Rain of Fire on them. But if you're not going to plan on using a Rain of Fire on them, you definitely want them to get more spread out and have all of your towers attack at the same time. So I'm just upgrading a few more Archer Towers. You know, I'm getting ready for these Fallen Knights to come out, and when they do come out, I want to take them down. But you don't even need that many Archer Towers, guys. Just a few of them, and that's really all you need. You know, I didn't really need to use the Rain of Fire there, but what did I do? I used it. I used it, and do I think it helped? Absolutely. Otherwise, we'd still be fighting zombies with those guys. And then these Fallen Knights and Spectral Knights wouldn't be able to get attacked by the Archer Towers. So the way they did this was actually quite skillful. I don't even actually completely agree with it, the way they did that, because it made it almost more difficult than it should have been. But it actually required Micro to be able to damage these guys. It didn't work out perfect for me, but it worked out okay. But now you can tell it's not working out that great anymore. So I did a lot of damage to these Fallen Knights, and that makes me pretty darn happy. But still, it was not perfect. I actually ended up Rain of Firing the ones on the bottom, which means I will get a lot of killing power with those guys. But the ones on the top, the best way to do it is to try and get your Hacksaw guy on the Spectral Knight, which are like the ghost guys, and keep him at bay. Keep him in the back of the Fallen Knights, so the Fallen Knights can get attacked by the Archer Towers. Otherwise, the Spectral Knight just runs right through, tanks all of the Archers, and then these Fallen Knights don't get any damage at all. Believe it or not, it is true. But, you know, with that Tesla coil there, oh my goodness gracious, that Tesla coil is absolutely stupendous. Look at that, we're doing tons of damage. And also, even though they are good against magic, these Fallen Knights aren't impenetrable to magic, and that means a lot to us, because they can slowly do damage, and if you stall them for just a little bit, you will eventually kill them. Trust me on that, you'll eventually kill them. Now another thing is, even though you can't damage them with the reinforcements, sometimes you do need to use reinforcements and just put them in the way to stop them so your towers can do some more damage, or at least teleport them back so a lot of towers can do a lot of damage. Also, you know what I noticed? What did I use? Rain of Fire on one guy? Did I really need to do that? I didn't really need to do it, but I wanted to do it, and I think it worked out pretty well. I mean, we took one of them down, he's at least down to a Spectral Knight, and we got the Rain of Fire almost back already. Now, they're definitely getting difficult right here, guys. Oh, yeah, they're definitely getting difficult. This is probably the most difficult round of the game. You got these Fallen Knights and Necromancers combined together. So what you're going to try and do is you're actually going to try and get a lot of Bombard Towers. You know, get your Tesla coils up. So I got 2 Tesla coils on the bottom there. Just keep upgrading, upgrade. And the one that you don't have 2 Tesla coils on, you probably want to use the Rain of Fire on them, or just watch it and be careful. See what happens. If you got one side doing really well and the other side doing really bad, obviously use the Rain of Fire on the side that's doing bad. But for the most part, you can actually do a pretty good job with just watching. You know, just just watch and see what happens. I noticed a big chunk of them there, and I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm just going to take them down, man. I'm just going to take them all right down. And I did a good job, I think. I think we took them down fairly easily. And even with Hacksaw over there, I got a little worried, but I'm like, nah, we don't even need him over there. So now here's the point of the game. You notice I sent out the wave every single time early. I think every single time. I don't think there was one time that I didn't send out a wave early. Is that really necessary? Well, for 15 waves, only getting like 30 gold, even if you got 30 gold each wave, you're not making much money there. You're making 450 gold over the course of the entire game. That's the cost of like a 3rd tier arch tower. Is that worth it? To me, I'm a gold hoarding fiend and I love it. So I love to get my gold. But to most people, no, I would say it's probably not worth it, especially if it's causing you a lot of problems. Early game is maybe a little bit of a different story. You know, maybe you can send it out early every once in a while, but wait until it's safe and then just send it out. That's the way I think about it. If you're going to use your Rain of Fire right before, you know, wait a few seconds right after that. You know, make sure you killed enough guys, and then send it to the next wave. But you know what, if your Rain of Fire fails and you miss or something, or you just don't do a good job with it, hey, maybe wait a few seconds. Level 14 and 15, I was just like, you know, I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to make sure I'm safe. You know, normally I'm just like, send out the next wave. Who cares? Let's just go with the flow. Let's see if we can have this stream take me down and find Paradise City. But the stream does not always take you to Paradise City. Sometimes it takes you to Lose the Life City. And when you go to Lose the Life City, you want to throw a controller or break the game. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I talking about past experiences? Maybe. I don't know. But maybe Chris has had some experiences with one zombie walking through to the very end, and then all of a sudden, you know, he's super duper angry because one zombie shouldn't get all the way to the end because you have a really solid defense, but zombies are stupid sometimes, and they don't understand. They just don't understand the game enough to be good. But zombies suck sometimes, and they really do cause some problems, and you gotta be careful for those guys. You know, the good thing is that you guys can still lose 2 lives and still get 3 stars, and I think your main goal is to get 3 stars, not no lives lost. Where my main goal is probably to get no lives lost for you guys, so it's a really solid walkthrough so you guys completely understand it. I know I'm saying you guys a lot, but that's just the way I talk, because you know what? I don't live in Texas, and I could say y'all, but I don't want to. So you can tell they're really going hardcore with these Abominations. But it's not even a big deal. These Abominations are actually pretty darn easy to take care of. And if you have a teleport in the back there, which I do, it's not going to be a big deal at all. In fact, you could even get all of them up to teleport if you wanted to. Go right ahead, be my guest. Sell some arch towers, get them all up to teleport. Awesome. It could work. You probably shouldn't do that until, like, right after this part, but you could still make it happen. So this is the part where I'm like, you know, I'm going to put the reinforcements more towards the front. It really doesn't matter where you put them, but sometimes most people, or at least some people, they like to wait until they actually need the reinforcements, so like zombies pop out or something, and then you just don't have them for a certain amount of time, and then they end up beating you. Be careful. Be careful with that. I think this is actually one of the easiest waves in the game, though. I don't know why. The Necromancers came out really early. We were able to kill them really quick. They didn't get any skeleton armies or anything. You know, usually the Necromancers are actually a problem because of the skeleton armies that pop out, because they start so far on the back and you don't have any towers that can end up killing them. That's why they usually turn into a problem. But we actually had Necromancers coming out and just dying right away. Check out this Necromancer. It's the Tesla coils. Tesla coils for the win. Watch this. Check this out. Boom, shakalaka. How many health is he down to already? Oh, man, he's almost dead. He's almost dead, but there's zombies everywhere. What? What are we gonna do? Well, Hacksaw did a good job of defeating the ones on the bottom, and we got so many reinforcements over on the top there that we can slowly take them down. Again, check out the way I did it. I actually used 2 sets of reinforcements. The ones ended up starting to attack, then the second set was just gonna throw the spears. That's another way to do it if you want to. Not obviously a necessary item to do, but definitely a possibility. Let's keep on flowing through here. We're getting some ranger towers. I just kind of got the musketeer garrison. I don't know. I'm not one of those guys that really loves the musketeer garrison, but it's definitely an okay tower to get. And I figured it was going to be a little bit better versus these stronger guys, because I figured that I can get this one-shot, one-kill thing, and maybe kill an abomination, and then I slowly realized, oh, it's never a one-shot, one-kill for that. It's just massive damage. You can never kill one of those guys in one hit, except for your hero. Hero is the only one The only one of them all. So it looks like it's very dangerous. You're like, oh my god, so many abominations. Could we possibly take them down? Yeah, easily. Very easily, actually. Rain of Fire, the biggest group of them. You know, usually in the middle. You're usually in the back. Just because you don't want them to slowly overwhelm you. And then we're going to take them all down, choose a couple more reinforcements, and very, very easy. Abominations completely destroyed. They didn't even get remotely close to the end. Even remotely. And there he is. My hero is going to get exploded and die. But we've done it. We've beaten it. We've beaten it. We've beaten it. And we're going to get 3 stars. So anyways, that's all I'm going to have for you guys today. As always, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that right now. Thanks for watching. Have a delicious day.